ZZ Top says, all the girls crazy about a well-dressed man. The most important part of a man's dress is a fat wallet. I'm sorry, that was wrong. I was wrong.
$600 pen.
The Math is Hard series, when I actually jumped in and estimated for the team, that was the last time I did that because I knew that that was not a sustainable thing, and it proved 1 point and 1 lesson. But I shouldn't have done that. I could have done that better. I could have done that differently. I was a new Scrum Master. I didn't know any better, you know. And as soon as I found out better, we used different techniques. But it does.
I still don't think there was anything wrong with you doing that, to be honest.
I know.
I really don't.
I know. And a lot of coaches will tell me, Harry, I mean, that's a great lesson, right?
Well, for you or for them? Well, I mean, for both, but
yes.
This is going to make a mess. Like, for real. And, like, the cookies in it, like, it doesn't bode well for eating.
Yeah.
I mean, that sounds odd. I see your estimation, I don't know if I call it a solution, just it was a solution at the time to get them moving on. I see that as creative. I mean, but then again, I'm one that likes to poke the bear to begin with. You have to, and that's where you get that helping them help themselves.
That's what we were talking about at Fuzzy's Taco. That creativity is key in we see so many posts on LinkedIn. What do you do to make your retros effective? What do you do to make your retros fun?
I have yet to read one now that gives me actually anything
Why
to do.
exactly?
Yeah.
Why do you need the retro to be fun?
Yeah.
Right? I mean, is your team immature? Is this the first time they're doing it? Or are you just trying to get legs under the thing? Esther Derby has an excellent book on retros that you can read that will give you clear ideas on how to do things differently, right? And that's good. You should read that. If you're a Scrum Master, you should be aware of that, and it should be on your radar, and it should be on your reading list. But at the heart of the matter is, what are you trying to achieve on the retro? Are you just training the team, or are you dealing with a mature team that knows how to fix its own problems, right? Knows that they have a problem.
Well,
right?
And we've heard it a couple of times now talking to developers. As I've heard that and then continue to see different posts like that, they are professionals. They are educated, intelligent professionals. Now, not everybody everywhere in any industry is, the brightest bulb in the box. I'm dripping ice cream all over myself, but, I do have a college degree or two. I don't take some of that serious. And I hate to be a negative one, because that's what I somewhat worry that I'm sounding to people. Why does everything have to be gamified? Why does everything have to be fun all the time? It's not that it needs to not be fun, but sometimes it's, let's go and get it done. No, you don't want a fully disengaged team that just sees it as, check the box, come on, let's move on. But that is where I have made it a point to step back and learn to walk a couple blocks in everybody's shoes versus just reading books, blogs.
Walking in everybody's shoes, asking them, hey man, what do you need to make this useful to you? Just asking, is this useful at all? Right? Are we getting any value out of this? One of my more mature teams literally sat me down and said, Harry, listen, we love what you're doing. We love how you've helped us grow. Clearly, we're believers in all this stuff, right? Why do we still have to have the retro, Harry? And I asked them, what do you mean, guys? That's where we get together and we talk about how to make things better. And they came back at me and they said, Harry, you've already taught us what we need to know, and we've been doing it so well for so long. Really, there's not that much of an improvement unless you're telling us, Harry, that we're falling behind in something, but we're not hearing that from you, and we're not hearing that from our product owner. We're delivering reliably, we're delivering with high quality, right? We're not overloading the way we used to because you helped us back away from that. So what are we supposed to learn from that?
But are they not realizing they are continuing to have that success because they are having it?
That was kind of sort of their point. If we are already reliably successful, do we actually have to meet every single sprint for half an hour to talk about stuff that really there's no point. We're not missing stories. We're hitting the sprint goal. Not only are we hitting the sprint goal, we're reducing technical debt.
And then take them out and do something fun, like get ice cream, like we're doing.
And that's exactly what we came to do. We
But
said
bring wet
said not only are we going to do something fun every once in a while, but, and I know this makes me a bad Scrum Master. Everybody knows that. I actually agreed that we maybe had retros not every sprint, but every other sprint.
So you're not a Scrum Master.
Yeah, I'm bad.
Wet naps.
I'm bad because the Scrum Guide says, right? Some teams that I work with that get to that point
You need a
naturally. No, I'm okay. Thank you.
You're not a 5-year-old like me. This was messy.
Hey.
Like literally.
Cone versus cup, ladies and gentlemen. And I
Well,
had cone in my cup.
This was not your typical waffle cone.
No, it was
they're
not. It was
like,
not. It's fresh made.
I mean,
Thank
this is
you,
like,
Creamery. That was actually pretty.
This is like I got ice cream all over my purse.
Oh, yes, you did. Yes, you did. But, you know, when a team gets to a point where they understand how to use the tools, is using them regularly, do they actually need to stay there? I've had several teams that went from Scrum to Kanban precisely for one of the things we covered. Kanban is basically a one-day sprint.
But I read on a number of occasions and about hyper performing
The
teams.
unicorn.
They never do that on Scrum alone.
Mm-hmm.
You have to bring in outside forces. So going back to the Scrum Master, if you are a Scrum specific Scrum Master, and I can understand where you become that way because you might not ever be in a situation where you really have much option other than to hold things together. But
just step one, getting the group to team. Step two, go through the process of storming, norming, right? Just forming, right?
Yeah.
And then considering, okay, now that we're there, what do we do? But each step can take much more than 3 sprints.
Yeah.
Each step, depending on the Scrum Master skill, it can take a fairly, and it's not even the Scrum Master skill. We had a conversation earlier where somebody said, well, listen, not everybody can have a Harry. And that might be true. But you also have certain cultures and organizations that don't lend themselves for you to be creative. They don't lend themselves for you to use your leadership skills. They will try to put you in your little tiny Scrum Guide square, right?
And one thing I'll say is, well, you have to be careful about management that, we don't need a Scrum Master. Oh, great, that's another hour every 2 weeks that we can now get more productivity. It's harder to get something back. So if you tell somebody, oh no, we don't need that, well, don't ever expect to have that again, because now you're going to have to
Yep.
you have
Now
a
you're
bigger
fighting.
argument to try to bring it back.
Yeah. That topic in itself, the kind of culture is what I feel breaks a lot of these new Scrum Masters that aren't prepared for non-ideal circumstances, right? You come out with your shiny little cert, or 3 certs or 7 certs, right? We see all the alphabets, right? You land on the ground, and just as an example, there's an organization here in town that will tell their new Scrum Masters, hey, listen, that Scrum thing is kind of cool, but that's not what we do here. What we do here is you just make sure the backlog's clean and make them code faster.
And if you took the job, well, maybe you didn't take that knowing that, but if you take it and say that, I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've been in a job where it's been advertised as one thing and it's been another. Like, congratulations, Scrum Masters, you're facing what the rest of the world does. This industry, I've said this over and over again, you're not special.
The thing that we discussed is, we do like Martin a lot. We agree with a lot of what he says. One of the articles that I agree strongly with is the Scrum Master shouldn't train the product owner, right?
In what?
In being a product owner.
Well, no, but obviously their duties to the product owner. That's one thing.
So, for 3 or 4 or 5 of my last jobs, when I got there, they asked me, well, Harry, how good are you at cleaning the backlog and doing the user stories and providing guidance to the team? And I said, well, wait a minute. Why are you asking me this? I mean, I know how to do it. I know the invest principles. I can train you on these things, but isn't there somebody already doing this? Well, Harry, the business is busy and we can't convince them to come in.
What do you mean?
We can't convince them to sit with us. I was like, well, wait a minute. Who's the product owner? Harry, we don't have a product owner. I've worked with the business to get somebody to volunteer to become the product owner for the team. And in that sense, I've had to do some light training. hey, this is what the guide says, and this is what's expected. And I don't know about your product or product development in this organization, but we need somebody to sit with us as much as possible, talk with these guys, figure out if what we're doing is right or not.
Oh,
So
I've got sprinkles in my hair too.
So if you're in a situation where a product can only give you 10 minutes, what I do is I tell them, hey, well, our stand-up's only 15.
Isn't that what most developers want? Oh, a product owner is only in our business 10 minutes a
That's how
day or
that's
week
how
or
they
whatever?
start. That's how they start.
Until they have questions.
Until they have questions, and until they get defended, and until they get taken out to lunch. Somebody to listen that cares and that helps you out is gold in software development.